Hi everyone, I'm Ermias here, coming to you live from Columbus, Ohio. How's everybody doing this morning? Today is February 1st and I am actually starting the Facebook Live a little bit earlier than usual. I used to do it at 12:30 p.m. Eastern time, but now it's going to be 9 p.m. Hi Paul, how are you? Nice to see you here. Hi Dawit. So starting from today, for the month of February, I'm going to go ahead and do Facebook Lives at this time, which is 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So it's early morning. How's everybody doing? For those of you who just woke up, it depends on which side of the world you're in. Please go ahead and let me know what time it is. If you're watching this live, let me know what time it is on your end. That way I know which part of the world you're coming from. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Ermias. I'm an entrepreneur, and my passions are entrepreneurship, personal growth, and contribution. I completed a 30-day Facebook Live challenge yesterday and learned a lot. Hi, Doug. How are you? Learned a lot through the process. One of the mottos or purposes or goals that I have for this year is really to do things that scare me, things that I am not comfortable with, and doing Facebook Live or being in front of a camera was one of the biggest things that really scares me. And here I am, 30 days completed, and this is the first day of February. So thank you guys for joining me. And today I want to talk about, I'll be talking about one attribute of successful people. You know, one of the things that I like to do is study successful people, because that's the easiest way to learn how to become successful. You know, there's always a trace that they leave, or you know, there's hi Aman, hi mommy, how are you doing? Thank you guys for joining me. So yeah, so there's a trace that they leave. There's clues that they leave. Success always leaves clues. So one of the best way and easiest way to learn how to become successful is really study successful people. Get into their mind, understand how they think, how they handle situations, and really study their history. So I love to watch biographies, especially for entrepreneurs, because that's one of the things that I love. And as an entrepreneur, I want to be successful. So I love to watch biographies of successful people. And one thing that that's really amazes me, is very common between all successful people, is that they have been faced with a lot of adversity in their journey to success. A lot of times we think that, you know, when we see people being very successful and achieving whatever they wanted to achieve and becoming a big name, we sometimes feel like, oh, you know, that they were lucky or they were provided with a special opportunity. But that's really not the case. Luck may have something to do with it. And, you know, there's a saying that says, the harder I work, the luckier I become. When you're working hard and you're in the journey of success, more opportunities are opened for you. That's for sure. But the reason successful people are successful is because they never quit. That's the one attribute that they all have, because if they had quit, we wouldn't know about them, okay? We wouldn't know about them, we wouldn't hear about them, because they're not successful. But if you go back and study their stories, there's something that you're always gonna find, that they never quit. Hi Sam, nice to see you. Buenos dias, Aman. Nice to see you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we're talking about one attribute of successful people. And that's the fact that they never quit. It's about never quitting is what we're going to talk about. And a couple of stories that really inspire me. Elon Musk, I've watched his biography, and it's just amazing how he is the kind of guy who never quits. He never gives up, because he's been faced with so many adversities, business problems, you know, things not working out for him. And he was really tested till to the point where he actually had to spend all of his money on the one dream that he had, which is to make SpaceX, his SpaceX project, a reality. And he did all of that. He took a big risk doing that. And he was very emotional in one of the interviews that I watched. Actually, he actually cries when he was talking about the kind of challenges that he was facing. But he never quit. And, you know, the interviewer actually asked him, would you ever have given up? And he said no. And he asked him why not, and he said, because I never give up. So it's something that he doesn't do. He just never quits. And he is where he is. Eventually, everything worked out for him, and he really is successful in what he's doing. Another story that inspires me is Mark Zuckerberg's story, the owner of Facebook. You know, Mark started Facebook, everything was going well, and in Silicon Valley, and Facebook was getting attention because it was a great innovation, and it was getting attention from different companies. And I think Yahoo actually offered Mark to buy Facebook, if I'm not mistaken, for $100 million, but it was a good amount of money. It was in the millions, maybe 100 million or a billion. I'm sorry, I didn't get the numbers, but it's easy. We can Google it. So it was a lot of money, and they offered to buy Facebook. However, Mark decided that he didn't want to sell it because he believed that Facebook is going to be big, and it's going to actually it's going to be of more value than what they were offering him. However, his team, his leadership team, and everybody else thought that he was crazy. You know, they didn't agree with his idea that he didn't want to sell the company to Yahoo, because they thought this was the biggest opportunity that they can ever get. You know, everybody's going to be rich and things like that. And he said no. He stood his grounds, and what happened was everybody left the company. Basically, his core team left the company, and it was a very testing time for him. He talks about it in one of the speeches that he made. I think it was in I think Harvard University, but he was making a speech, a graduation speech, and that's when he talks about it. He says that I was really tested. I felt alone, and I doubted myself. I started to think, am I wrong? I mean, did I make a huge mistake here? You know, when adversity like that happens to you, you start to doubt yourself, and he did. But because he never quit, Facebook is where it is now. It is right now, and you guys all know where Yahoo is. So he never quit on what he believed. He persisted. So it's a common thing that we see in all successful people, that they never quit. So success requires that we persist. Persistence and perseverance is very necessary. A lot of times we think the road to success is easy, or we want it to be easy, but it's never easy. However, the reward is big, and that's why we want to continue fighting for our dream and whatever it is that we're trying to achieve in terms of our success. So the thing is, when we, a lot of times when we see successful people and again, when I say success is really defined by the individual. You know, success to me could be different for another person. Whatever it is that is really of a big value for you, and you're trying to achieve and become that person, that's how you define your success. And a lot of times when we see successful people, we want what they have. We get inspired by them. But a lot of times we're not prepared to pay the sacrifices and the prices that they pay, you know. But there's always two sides to the coin of success. There is the reward, there is the freedom, there is whatever it is that we're looking for. It's very rewarding and fulfilling success. But at the same time, on the other hand, there's a lot of sacrifices that are being paid, and there's a lot of cost that it costs you to become successful. So you can't separate the two, and that's why coming into it, we have to understand that that's how success is attained. But what I want to talk about right now is, guys, why do people quit so easily? Or why do a lot of people quit on a lot of things? Okay? and some people don't. And the people that don't, we see them becoming a big name, achieving things and becoming successful. They have a story because they have never quit. But why do other people quit? And there's 5 reasons why I think people quit. And I want to go ahead and mention those things to you. The first thing is people quit because their vision is not big enough. You know, because even when they start on the journey to success, they don't have a compelling reason as to why they're doing for what they're doing. You know, the only thing that's gonna keep you on the road to success, actually there's 2 things that will keep you on the road to success. Number 1 is you're running away from your problems. Your problems are too big and you want to change that, so you keep moving forward because you really can't go back. That's one reason. And people risk their lives sometimes because of running away from problems. You know, when they know that they don't have anything to go back to, then they do whatever it takes to achieve whatever they are trying to achieve, or to run away from that problem. And the second thing is, if the vision is big enough, then it's pulling you towards that. If whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish, if it is your core value, if it's your purpose, and you can't see yourself without it, basically, that it's so deep that you can't see yourself without it, then you have a vision, and that vision is big. When your vision is big enough, you won't quit, because you really can't see yourself without it. So part of the reason why people quit so easily a lot of times is because they don't have a vision. They don't have a purpose. They don't have a strong reason as to why they're doing what they're doing. So having a strong reason, a compelling reason, is very, very necessary. When I started my entrepreneurial journey, I actually asked myself a lot of questions. I always tell myself, something good doesn't mean that I have to do it. You know, there's a lot of good opportunities, great things that we could do in this world, but it doesn't mean that Martha has to do it. I always tell myself that. So when this opportunity came my way, I said, this is a great opportunity. You know, I researched it, I looked at it in all ways, like there's categories that I look at, like the opportunity is big, there's a market for it, it's very legit, and there's a lot of credibility behind it. I know it can work, and I could succeed in it. All of that was really great. But at the same time, I say, but why do I have to do it? Why me? You know? And I pondered on that question maybe like 3 days. And I finally found the reason. And the reason had nothing to do with the opportunity. It had to do with what I always wanted to do. You know, when back I remembered a statement that I made. There was a passion that I had, and I didn't have a vehicle to accomplish that passion. That happened 10 years ago. So I remembered that particular moment 10 years ago, and I saw this opportunity as a vehicle for me to achieve that passion that I had, which was a strong reason. And going into it, I already had a very compelling reason, okay? And because I had a very compelling reason, that's the reason why I, in times of adversity, I actually never quit. Some of you are asking me if I could speak Tigrinya or Amharic. I am going to leave a link to, we have a Facebook groups, both in English and Amharic, and if you're interested in learning or listening to some of these messages in Tigrinya or Amharic, I'm sorry, not Amharic, but Tigrinya, then definitely you can join that group. So I'm going to leave the link in the notes later. Okay, so not having a compelling vision or a compelling reason to the things that you're doing is going to make you a quitter. So when you start something, make sure you know why you are starting that. Before you be very solid with the reason why you're starting it, and know and understand that that's a solid, like that's something that really matters to you, and you really can't see yourself without it. So that's number one reason why people quit. And the second reason is when it's easy to quit, sometimes, what we invest into something is a lot. We invest our time, we invest our money, we invest our emotion, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a business opportunity or other things. If you invest a lot, then you don't give up a lot. But when you have not invested a lot and you see it lightly, then you just quit, right? Or there's nothing, you don't see the consequences of your quitting immediately. You could quit on something and you don't see the consequences of, nothing really bad happens just because you quit on something right away. However, if you're looking at things on the big picture, like from a big picture perspective, and you're looking at maybe like a long-term result, the decisions that we make on a daily basis affect the results we get over a long period of time. So the cost of quitting could be big. However, we don't see it because there's nothing immediate that happens that day. Just to give you an illustration, for example, like what you don't do 3 years ago, and 3 years ago, and for a period of 3 years, it's going to show in the results that you have today. What you haven't done in the last 10 years is going to show in the results that you have today. The position that you have, everything in every way. What you neglected the last 4 or 5 years, you're going to reap the consequences today. Or what you took care of or pay attention to the last 4 or 5 years, you're going to see the results today. And the exact same thing, in the exact same way, it's also about the future. The little things that you make the decision whether to pursue or not to pursue today is going to affect where you're going to be 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 4 years from now, 5 years from now, in any area of your life. So it's easy to quit when you don't see the immediate consequence. But you really have to take a look at every action that we have. It has a major consequence, but the consequence is not visible a lot of times right away. That's the second reason. Because it's easy to quit or easy to exit, people quit. And that's the second reason. And the third reason is sometimes people don't have enough belief in the things that they're doing, that it will work. When you don't have enough belief in whether it's going to work or not, then it's easy to quit. Okay, belief is very important. You have to be very convicted. Conviction is very necessary. And the other thing that belief can affect also is about believing about yourself, whether you can do it or not. And that's a lot of times very common, because many people, we don't really have the kind of worth, we don't really have the kind of self-worth that's necessary for success. You have to understand what your worth is. You have to believe in yourself that you can do it. There's one thing that I really like. I never doubt that I could do something if someone else has done it before. If someone else has done it before, then there's no reason you can't do it. It's just that you have to learn how to do it, how they got there, what it is that you need to do, and things like that. Otherwise, if you don't believe in yourself, then it's going to be very easy for you to quit as well. Okay, a lot of times, people quit at the slightest discomfort. If something is not comfortable or inconvenient, they just quit. But the thing is, success comes from persuading or consistently being uncomfortable, being inconvenient. Even failure is inconvenient. If you fail and you're not succeeding, you're just not playing to win, that's inconvenient. Life is not convenient. So I always say we got to choose which inconvenience we want. The inconvenience of success, yes, it is inconvenient. Sometimes it's not going to be comfortable. It's not going to be, easy. However, I'd rather have that than the inconvenience of not winning. Okay, so, and then the fourth thing is not having developed mental toughness. Okay, mental toughness is like quitting and not quitting. is actually a habit. You know, you can think about people that you see quitting on things. It's not because of how hard or how easy the stuff is. A lot of times it's a habit. Okay, it's a habit to quit. And that's something because people have not developed their mental toughness. Actually, Jack Ma, the owner of Alibaba, he has a motivational speech where he says, train your mind to be tough. You know, our mind can be trained to be tough or to be weak. If we're always looking for immediate comfort, hi honey, nice to see you. If you're always looking for immediate comfort, like what makes you comfortable, like in the immediate sense, then you're not training yourself to be mentally tough. And I want to tell you an example, guys. I've heard this during one of my mastermind retreats. Our mastermind coach told us that for many years, he's been taking cold showers all the time, regardless of the weather. And he lives in America. He can take warm showers. That's not even an issue for him. But he takes long cold showers, and he does that so that he can train himself to be mentally tough. And that translates into everything that he does on an everyday basis. When things are hard, do you quit or do you persist? And mental toughness is one of the things that will really help you. One of the things that I'm doing for my mental toughness is actually one of my priorities for this year. And one of the things that I'm doing is really doing a CrossFit exercise. I don't like cardio. That's one of the things. I mean, I love to work out, but I don't like high impact cardio. And CrossFit has a lot of high impact cardio, and I don't like it. But every time I'm there and I don't like it, usually before, what I used to do was I choose my exercises, whatever is good, whatever I like to do, I would do it. But this time, I'm doing what I don't like to do, so that mentally I can be tougher, and it will translate in a lot of things that I do. So you have to develop your mental toughness. That way you're not a quitter. You know, you overcome your habit of being a quitter or quitting. And then the fifth reason why people quit is because they conform to the masses. Basically, what I mean by that is there is, and this is Danny Johnson's teaching. She says that there's 98%ers and 2%ers. The 2%ers are living the life that they want. They're winning in life. They're playing the game of life to win. And the 98%ers are not. They're living, you know, a moderate life. They're complacent. They want to be comfortable, but they don't really, their life is not very rewarding. They don't get to do the things that they want to do. Hi, Jerry. Nice to see you here. Thank you guys for joining me. I appreciate you guys. So that the 98%ers actually are not, you know, they're not having the kind of success that they want in their lives, right? And a lot of times, you know, as sometimes people, what they do is they look at what everybody's doing, and then they set their standards based on that. So if everybody's not, you know, thriving, trying to achieve success in everything, they say, why should I? You know, they just conform to the masses. And that could be a reason why they quit. Like, for example, if they start a journey to success and it's hard, right? And they look at everybody else and nobody else is really doing that. They say, they pull back and they stop from pursuing that and they quit. However, if you want to be successful, and this is, again, a line that I took from Danny Johnson, which is really amazing, there's two things you can do. Either study successful people, follow their steps and do what they're doing, or study unsuccessful people, which is the 98%ers, and do the exact opposite of what they're doing. Instead of conforming to what they're doing, do the opposite of what they're doing. It's actually easier to do that. Like, don't do what the common people do. Basically, when I say common, I'm hoping that more of the 98%ers, all of us, will be inspired to step into the 2%ers, because we all have potential and we all have opportunity around us. It's just how we view things and how we pursue things that makes the difference. It's not because we are less qualified or less favored it's not because we're less than, somebody is less than another person, that one becomes successful, one becomes unsuccessful. It's really because of the way we view ourselves, the way we handle life, and we handle our day-to-day tasks. So those are the 5 things that I think, the 5 reasons why people quit so easily. And I just, before I finish, I just want to share with you a couple of principles and sayings that actually helped me in developing a mindset of not quitting. You know, I think I really don't like to quit on things. I like to finish what I started, and I just want to share with you a few things that actually really helped me. So number 1, and I heard this from a friend when I was in college, and he just threw it out there in the middle of conversation, but it really made a big impact on me, and I actually held it as a principle. He told me that his father told him not to quit, not to never quit on a bad day. Basically, I mean, I'm rephrasing it, but that's what he said. To never quit on a bad day. Because, you know, on a bad day, when you feel like things are not working and everything, your mind is going to justify your action to quit. Your mind is going to give you all the reasons why you should quit. Because on a bad day, you're not feeling good. You know, you're not going to be inspired to keep pursuing your dreams and things like that. So your emotional state is actually will lead you to quitting. So never quit on a bad day. And one of the things that I do is when I'm not feeling good, and you know, I have a lot of disappointments and things like that, I just see it as if all of that emotion and everything is happening that day. Tomorrow is going to be a good day. So for that day, I just say, okay, let's let this day end, and tomorrow is a fresh day. It's a new beginning. But never make a decision when things are not working. Okay, always have a strategy. You know, when you're pursuing something, you can give yourself time, and you can also you know, like give some criteria as far as, okay, if this happens during this, like maybe after a year, if this does not happen, then maybe I'm going to change a strategy or things like that, and commit to that. You know, quit on if you're ever going to quit on something, make sure that you're quitting based on a strategy on a good day with your sound mind, not necessarily on a bad day when you're feeling that pressure of adversity and challenges that you face. Don't do it on that day. And the second is be all in. And again, this has a lot to do with your vision or the reason why you're doing what you're doing. You have to be 100% in. You know, sometimes we are not 100% in on things that we do, and it will be very easy to quit if that's the case. There's actually a saying, if you're 1% in doubt, you're out. 1% in doubt, you're out. If you're not 100% into something, you're not going to make it happen. You're not going to see it into flourishing. So divided heart is actually a recipe for disaster and a recipe for quitting, obviously. So you really don't want to have a divided heart. If your heart is not full, if you're not 100% on something, dig deep and ask yourself if you should be or if you shouldn't be. You're just not ready yet. So you want to be 100%. And sometimes, you know, when you start a journey, you may not be 100% at the beginning, but, you know, walk the journey enough to see yourself to be 100%. Make that a goal. Like with my entrepreneur journey, for example, I really didn't know 100% if it was the right vehicle for me, 100%. You know, it sounded good, it looked good, but I wasn't 100% sure. However, I gave myself some time to see if I could put myself 100%. And during that period of time, I saw some results and things like that, and I said, I'm 100% in. Actually, 150%, I like to say, I am in. So you want to be 100% in, and if you're not, then it's going to be easy to quit as well. Another principle that really helped me, this saying that I really like, is the darkest hour is before dawn. Okay? When you are about to give up, your success is around the corner. You know, a lot of times, you know, the testing, or you get tested to quit, The testing comes really intense when your success is really just around the corner. That's really what it is. A lot of times when you're ready to quit, it means that you're about to succeed big. So understanding this principle is really helpful, because a lot of times, I have used this principle over and over again. When things are tough, I say, oh wow, that means that I'm really going to be successful in this. It's going to be big. And that keeps me not giving up when things are extremely tough. You really don't want to be, and then, even in life in principle, when the challenges and testing and adversity is too intense, it means greatness is awaiting for you on the other side. It really is, all the time. Even if 100% not in that situation, but greatness is really awaiting for you. So never give up on the darkest hour, because it's really the brightness is going to come right after that. And the fourth thing is always start with the end in mind. Start with the end in mind. Have a goal. Make sure that whenever you're starting something, visualize where you're trying to go with it. Okay, what are you going to do a year from now, 2 years from now? Make sure that vision, that whatever you're visualizing is actually crystal clear. Okay, you really know what the end result is going to be. And if you have that kind of vision and clarity, then you're not going to be easily quitting on your dreams, on whatever it is that you're doing. So you're going to see success on whatever you're doing. And then the fifth thing is know your worth from inside out as opposed to from outside in. Okay? Don't allow your environment, don't allow your experience, don't allow your background to value, you don't allow your self-worth to come from all of those things, from your environment, from your background, or from from outside, from other people. Your worth comes from inside. What your worth comes from inside, from your core values, from your passions, from your purpose. And a lot of times in life, we know what we're worth because we're dreamers. We're created dreamers. When we're children, when we're little, we dream, we imagine, and it's like there's no limit to where we can go with our minds, right? That's a gift that we are given. And a lot of times our dreams and passions and things like that, they have something to do with our purpose in life. But as we're living life, there's so much that happens, and so much discouragement. Sometimes we're not validated. Sometimes, the environment or, where we grow up, a lot of things tell us otherwise. They tell us that we're not worth what we think we are. So self-worth is very important. You have to understand that your self-worth needs to come from inside out as opposed to from outside in. And if you recognize that you don't have the kind of self-worth that you deserve, if you feel like if you feel like you're not giving the kind of value that you should give to yourself, or you don't have the kind of confidence that you need to have, or you don't believe in yourself and your abilities, then I really suggest that you start working on that. You really have to start working on that. And start working on that by being around other people that see the best in you, by reading some books, by really being aware of your own thoughts and questioning why you feel the way you feel, why you don't see your self-worth the way that it should be, and things like that. And for me, to be honest, one of the things that really, really helped me, and I'm going to mention it again, is really attending seminars. Attending seminars is something that helped me, because sometimes, things that I didn't even know existed in my subconscious mind related with self-worth and things like that. I don't know where they came from, but they're there. It becomes unveiled, it becomes revealed. And once it becomes revealed, then I can attack it, because it has come into lightness, into the light, and out of the darkness. So that's why I can attack it. So you really need that kind of help a lot, and that's why I always plug in myself into seminars and things like that, things that can help me grow, because you know those coaches are trained in helping you understand yourself better. So self-worth is important. If you don't see yourself as someone who can accomplish what you have dreams of, like you know it's your value, you have those dreams, but you don't see yourself that you can do it, don't give up on yourself. It's better to build up your self-worth. And if you continue to work on your self-worth, you're gonna conquer it. You're gonna conquer every limiting belief that you have, and you can make it happen. Okay. All right, well, that's all I have for today. I hope you guys got some value from this, and so we talked about what the stuff that can lead you to become a quitter, or quit on your journey and not become, as far as your journey to success, and some of the things that I believe can help you in terms of not even overcoming, if quitting is something that you struggle with, to overcome that kind of habit. I kind of shared it with you guys. And if you find value in this, I really encourage you to share it with other people so that they can find some value in it as well. And I thank you again for joining me, everyone. I love to see you guys here, and please comment below. Let me know how this is helping you, or if you have any questions, go ahead and comment below as well. I really love to interact with you guys, and I appreciate you when you comment and share and things like that. So every single day, I'm sorry, not every single day, Monday to Friday, every 9 a.m. Eastern time, I will be here sharing some value on Facebook Live, and I hope to see you tomorrow. God bless you all, and have a great day. Bye-bye.